I've been playing the game for like so long
I
now,
see
and
that, yeah.
I feel like I generally stagnated. So
Mm-hmm.
obviously, what I'm doing isn't working anymore. So
Mm.
another look at it would probably do me
Sure.
good.
So I'm looking at your form. It looks like you got quite the history. Console, transition to PC, OTP, all sorts of stuff. Give me the full rundown from when you first started, all the relevant details.
So I picked up the game. I picked the anniversary edition up in what is that, like 2013,
Mm-hmm.
for console.
Okay.
I got into it because like I think at the time in the movie theaters they were playing like little short films in the movie theaters, and I thought it was a movie at first.
Oh, that's funny.
So yeah, then I found out it was a video game. That was good old days. So I got into the character Tracer basically, and like I
Mm-hmm.
have clips from me like learning the character, blinking into walls and everything like that, and I just
Yep.
kind of resonated with her and just stuck with her. And I've been playing just basically Tracer for the most part for years now at this point. I branched out eventually because you could only go so high with like limited experience. So I kind of branched out to other hit scans, but I always come back to Tracer. She's my go-to for sure.
Okay.
Um, so I recently, like you said, I recently transitioned to PC. I bought the PC in January, so I've only been on
Mm.
PC since January.
Mm.
But before that, it was just all console all the time.
Yep.
And I spent a lot of my time in platinum. I think the last 2 years I moved up to diamond, and I kind of chilled there for a little bit. And I think on two of my accounts I peaked at masters at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But it's mostly just been diamond or platinum when I'm on my off season. So
Got it. Got it. Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. What is it about Tracer that has always appealed to you?
it's the glass cannon kind of play style. The every mistake is punished.
Mm.
But also the fact that I feel like for the most part, just about every game I could uh, influence it and like basically hard carry. I feel
Yeah.
the potential is there every single game to hard carry.
Okay. Yeah, it's like the skill ceiling of what you can do is in theory probably as high, like maybe the highest in the game, honestly. Like if you even look at characters like Wrecking Ball and Doomfist and so on, they have comparable-ish skill ceilings, but they're easier to counter with, right? Like there are certain things that are going to make her difficult. Tracer, especially nowadays, it's like you can always make her work basically everywhere, and I get the
And
appeal of that.
for Doom and Wrecking Ball, they have a lot more like survivability with their armor and their
Yes, true. So it's the risk
health
as
pool
well.
as well.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Okay,
So
I'm
yeah,
going to
they
get
don't
to
get punished as much.
insights. Focus insight. Okay, so you have a lot to unpack here, and I've been reading through some of your form before we started, and then right when we started, and I'm going to kind of give you a little bit of a disclaimer of what I'm going to want to explore. You
Okay.
have a monumental amount of hours put in, and some of this may be some of the stuff that you already know. I have a very strong feeling that a lot of the things that we're going to have to do is unpack how you play the game and really delve into what you need to be doing differently or what you could be doing better. And then
Right.
installing good habits and replacing old habits. But I'm going to be very frank with you. I do think this is going to be incredibly difficult for you.
Yeah,
Um,
so I was thinking about it, and I already know I have like a very high risk, high reward play style.
mhm.
So when it's on, it's on, and if it's not, it's a bust.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
think that rather than like in my not in my opinion, but I think that maybe like trying to take that play style and fixing what I can in it to make it work better, because I know
Yes.
it can work, like it works
Yes.
for sure, but it's
Yes.
just the mitigating the mistakes.
Yes, I agree. No, I definitely want to amplify the things that you already have a tendency towards these kind of choices. So let's lean into those choices. When we talk about play styles in Overwatch, for almost every character, there isn't really a change in how you should play the character, but there is a change in terms of what risks or gambles you're willing to take. Right. So for most characters,
Right.
there's a safer angle and a more aggressive angle that you take. You're down your recall, you got triple blink. Do you want to go finish that 1v1 that's half HP, or do you want to play it safe and hold the angle? You're still playing Tracer no matter what decision that you do, but you might be the type of person that goes into those more aggressive decisions. So I don't want to move away from those. Like we will always lean into the more aggressive if that's what's more natural for you. But I guess what I'm concerned about is that there might be some actively poor choices objectively, and that's going to be stuff that you just often normally do and always have done, and then have a lot of baggage. Like you've got some tracer trauma, let's put it that way. For me, that character's Genji. So he was my first character I played. I put a lot of time into him, not near as much as you have with Tracer, but I'm looking at my hours here, actually. Let me actually pull up my career profile here. All nodes, time played. Yeah, I have around almost 400 hours in Genji, which is not that much, but like I guess relative to my skill with the character, he's like way behind the curve because he was the first character I picked up. I was new to first-person shooters like you know. I learned the game playing Genji, a lot of it, so I just have a lot of mechanical baggage where I just do a lot of stuff that I really shouldn't do, you know? And I feel like that's going to be the kind of the case with you, is that every new character that you pick up is generally a little bit easier to learn because you have a stronger foundation of what you ought to be doing. But with Tracer, it's like you got all this baggage, right? And also, in addition to that, I want to talk more about how you're playing because this may have changed, but I'm also curious if this is how you've played in the past, which is you play only a couple, like 3 to 4 times a week, but you play for long sessions, correct?
So yeah, the last month I had a lifestyle switch, but
Good.
normally when I play, it's like all in for hours because I just dedicate all that time to it.
Right.
So it's a lot of long sessions.
Right.
There are breaks in between, especially when like I'm on loose streaks or like I've been going for
Yeah.
when I need to eat. But
Yeah, of
it's
course.
long sessions.
Right. But you've probably seen, I mean, I've seen that you've seen a couple of my other coaching sessions, and you've probably heard me talk about like effective practice and how to channel your energy. There's a big departure between what you're doing and what I would say I would coach a player to do, even if they were aiming for like, let's say professional, right? Like you're putting in a lot of time. So what's your plan, right? Because I don't think I have too much to teach you here. You probably have an idea, but yet you have this kind of like this lifestyle or these habits that you've built in how you play. What needs to change?
So, I mean, definitely like, so I've been watching a lot of your videos, but also
Sure.
even like the last couple of days leading up to this, I've been trying to pay attention to like a little bit of the little things that I do that I could probably correct as well.
Yep.
Like one of the biggest things is certain maps are restricting to me, and it's not just the maps per se. It's those maps typically dictate certain play comps.
Yeah.
And I have a harder time with slower tempo, and I'm
Yes.
always trying to push the tempo and make it my speed, which does not work. So I know that that's one thing that I have an issue with. But I guess and at the end of the day is I guess it's probably decision making, because I know I take a lot of like risky plays, but
Sure.
it's just maybe there's things that I'm not seeing.
Yeah,
'Cause,
sure.
like you said, I have a lot of hours in, so I probably have a really strong foundation in the character, especially since when I moved to PC, it was maybe like a month of a learning curve just getting
Yeah,
key
the
bindings down,
mechanics. Yeah.
and then I was basically I'm basically sitting at where I'm at normally on console, a little bit lower because the skill curve from platinum to diamond on PC is a little bit harder, but I'm relatively close to where I'm at, and I've been getting better. So
Yeah. Okay. I do want to like unpack like a little bit of like what your plan is going to be with training, because I'm looking at your goals here.
Okay.
Goals is masters, like to get there again, maybe even top 500. You have pretty lofty goals, and you have the time to be able to dedicate. You know, obviously you said you had the lifestyle change, so, but I assume that you probably have the time to be able to put in, like, if I were to say, like, on a ballpark estimate, if you want to reach top 500, okay, 20 hours a week is probably like I wouldn't say the minimum, but like a good bar to set for top 500, like low top 500, right? You're more than eclipsing that, right?
Yeah, I can definitely put those hours in.
Yeah. So I guess, but that's kind of my concern, right? Is that you've got I'm used to talking with gold Kiriko players that want to reach GM and play twice a week, have competitive anxiety, and play like 3 comp games a season. You get what I'm saying? And we have to have a discussion about the realism of that goal. You're the opposite, right? But unfortunately, I wouldn't say it's as bad, because obviously like playtime is not a problem with you, but it's the opposite problem where you have a lot of hours, but you're not practicing effectively with those hours. Like right now you have thousands of hours and yet you're plat, right? Now part of that is due to, you know, you transition to PC, you're playing a high skill setting character, but I've coached a lot of tracers to masters, right? And they follow the same principle of it's a difficult learning curve. They need a couple of 100 hours. And over the course of like 6 months, they're able to kind of make that transition, right?
So
But
and so
yeah,
another thing is like when I was on console and that was my go-to, right? So I would what am I trying to say? Is I would always climb through and then I would always have like this massive losing streak and then I would just
yeah,
bounce
yeah,
rubber band every single time.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
I'm always
yeah.
outplaying the lobbies regularly and then I fall. And then on top of that, I think I know it's not relevant anymore and it's not a very, very small sample size, but I would always use overbuff to track like how I'm generally doing. And
Yeah.
it was always disheartening to see that I'm like top 100 on that platform and I'm like sitting with a plat symbol.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, overbuff is just a complete nonsense thing. I mean, I was in top 1% when I was in like a gold at one point. I remember back when I used to check that as well. I would never use that for statistical feedback, you know? And this is kind of what I want to get at with your session right now is like whether it's like a little bit of the overbuff or this or that is right now you're spinning the wheels a lot, but you're not in
Yeah.
gear, right? You're playing a lot.
Yeah.
You're checking some stats. Maybe you're watching some VOD reviews, you know, getting some educational feedback, maybe warming up, maybe doing this, maybe doing that. But what's happening is that you're exhausting yourself and going nowhere. I want to focus for you on making the effort that you're putting in actually count. And what that's going to mean is you're going to need a little bit more of a direction discipline towards actually like cutting back hours. Like I'm going to ask you to play less. Now, you might be surprised as what I'm going to request from you, which is I want you to let me put it this way. I don't want you to play less. I want you to train less. I want you to focus on playing Tracer for only at most, and this is going to hurt, 3 hours a day, most, tops. That's it. And if you do want to play Overwatch more than that, I don't want you playing Tracer. I want you playing with something else. It could be Roadhog, it could be Hit Scan, it can be Genji, it could be support, it could be quick play, it can be arcade, it can be ranked, it could be an all. I don't care, but you're not allowed to play Tracer more than 3 to 4 hours a day. Now, that's what I would recommend. You know, I'm not your doctor telling you that you have terminal cancer, you're going to do this, you're going to die. It's really your choice. You know, how important are these goals for you? But if reaching Masters and top 500 is really important for you, that's going to be the first thing that we're going to do. It's not going to be feedback. It's not going to be goals. It's not going to be VOD review. It's going to say stop playing Tracer for as much as you are per day. It's 3 to 4 hours tops.
Okay.
You know,
Quality over quantity.
Quality over quantity. Absolutely. Right? Quality over quantity. Because this is the problem here is I can give you all this feedback about all these ideas about things that you need to change and new things and fundamentals and aim training. But if you go then train for 10 to 12 hours, it's not going to change. Because for even if you are focused for a couple of hours, then you're going to play for another 3, 4, 5, whatever hours. You're going to undo all that practice because you're going to go back and play as you used to or you normally do. And going to reinforce the type of habit that we're trying to move away from. Like, it's hard to break habits.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So this is why we have to be conscious about these things, right? So we're not just trying to get you more comfortable with the game. We're trying to develop you in a direction that you don't normally go, which means we're going to have to rip up some roots. You know what I'm saying?
Now, here's a question towards that.
Please.
So, when I play, I play with two concepts in mind. Like, am I playing to get better or am I playing to rank up, right?
Yes.
And if I'm playing to rank up, then I open up my hero pools. I play hit scans when I need to. I switch it up. Whatever I need to, I get off Tracer. But if I'm playing just to play and just to, then I'll play Tracer and win or lose, it doesn't really matter. I'm just playing the character.
Yep.
So you're saying even in that moment, just don't even.
Even in that moment. Yeah. I'm going to pivot even your first point here. So I don't think you should ever play to win. Ever. There are some games where I'm not focusing on any particular practice topic. Like, let's say I'm going to go in and I'm practicing my Freya and I'm working on my dashes and my updrafts, my cover usage. There'll be a certain percentage of games, like, I don't know, 25, 30% of my games where I'm not working on anything. But that's because I'm seeing what my baseline Freya is like. So I can review it and study it and set new goals. Because when I just play, all my good and bad habits kind of come out and I see like a baseline. Like if we were to VOD review your Tracer, it's generally best to VOD review just a game where you're just, playing to win, right? Just playing the game because we can see what like you normally do when you're not focused, right? However, if I'm trying to play, like let's say productively, like let's say I want to rank up, you really don't play to win generally ever because again, it puts the cart in front of the horse and it leads you to focus on an outcome that is really not controlled by you all that much, right? Like if you are a Masters player in a Masters lobby, you have 10% of the outcome, right? If you're in a gold player in a gold lobby, plat player in a plat lobby, right? So you don't focus on winning. You focus on what's going to get me to win more games in the long run, which is the improvement. Now, the second thing that you talked about, which is you're just playing to play. You just enjoy playing the game. You're playing for fun. I'm with you on that one. I'm totally down for you to do that as long as you'd like. Overwatch is a fun game. Not everything has to be about productivity. However, you are going to have to make certain sacrifices if productivity is at all a goal. And one of those, as you said, is going to be not playing Tracer, not for fun. Maybe a little bit if you need to on an all and quick play, sure, but I would avoid as much as you possibly can. I'd instead go in a different direction.
All right.
And what we're going to essentially do is we're going to prioritize now down the road. If you want to kind of reevaluate, can I just play some Tracer with quick play with friends or just play for a couple hours for fun? Sure. But right now we have I would hesitate on that right now. I would avoid that if you can right now and explore, find ways that Overwatch can be fun besides Tracer for you.
Okay.
Does this make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
No, I've kind of set drop the guillotine, So what I'm encouraging you to do is after the session today, before you play again next, I would take some time to kind of think these things through and find out just plan out what your plan is going to be. Because I don't think it's smart for you to do what you're doing right now. But I also don't think it's smart for you to just follow exactly what I'm saying. I'm giving you some guidance and some advice. Go think on it on yourself and decide how you want to interpret it. Like if you think that, okay, it's actually really not that bad for me to play some Tracer just for fun, it's actually fine. Yeah, okay. I can buy into that. Oh, it's actually fine for me to play, 5-6 hours of Tracer. It's still better than what I was doing. Yeah, okay, I can buy into that. Where you need to go kind of experiment here, but I'm asking you to be more deliberate and more planned out with everything that you do in Overwatch. That's what I'm asking you to do. Don't just take my advice at face value. Your mileage may vary, but you do need to contemplate these things, if that makes sense.
Understood.
Okay. Any questions with that?
No.
Okay,
No,
because even going back to like you said, this kind of how my fluctuations go is I'll play really well and then I'll play really poorly. Yep, that's exactly what I'd expect with somebody that's playing as you are right now. Because
but a lot of times I play exhausted, but even when I'm not playing exhausted, a lot of time it feels like the matches that puts me in the lobbies that puts me in get significantly harder and harder.
Sure.
Not that guys I'm ranking, but higher than what it should be. Like I'm playing with D ranked people versus people that are ranking.
It could be. Yeah, I mean it could be. It happens. Yeah, it happens, right? But again, the probability is still there, and yet you're still the same. So there's been a lack of progression. You've hit a wall with how far you can get right now, and so we need to work smarter, not harder, to be a little bit trite. But yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Talk to me about your mechanics here. So what has been your mechanical transition? What's been your mechanical plan? Did you just play the game? What's your sensitivity? I know it's been a little bit of time here, so it's not exactly brand new, but talk me through it.
I actually don't know what my DPI is set to. I just know what my sensitivity in game is. I should probably figure out what my DPI is set to.
Yeah, well, I can ballpark it. Do you have, how much mouse pad space do you have approximately? Like arm's length, foot and a half.
Yeah, like arm's length.
6
I play
inches.
mostly with my wrist.
Okay. So it you would say maybe a foot by a foot, maybe a little more.
Yeah.
Something like that. Okay. So if you have Overwatch pulled up, how many 180s can you do from the very left of your mouse pad to the very right of your mouse pad? So just within full range of motion, how many 180s are you doing with Tracer? Just go in the practice range and just do a full 360. Okay, because mine's pretty low, so I can almost do a full 360, but not quite.
I think I don't know if I can do, because I put the sensitivity so that I could do 180s and then left it kind of there.
Okay, that would be something to test. For an effective Tracer setting with the sensitivity or with the mousepad space that you have, if you put your mouse on the very far left of your mousepad, not centered, move it to the center and then continue all the way to the right. If you start from left and go all the way to right, I think a good Tracer sensitivity would be anywhere from a 460, at least a 360, a little over a 360 comfortably. So what you want to do is you want to use your arm. You don't want to use your wrist for long term, right? You want to use more of your arm, but also Tracer does involve a lot more motion than the characters that I main. So you want to be able to comfortably 360. So for context, I
Well, are we
have
talking like DPI or the sensitivity?
it doesn't matter because it's the results the same, right?
Okay.
So I think that there's probably like some math in there that like, oh, 1600 DPI is better than 400 or something. Like I don't know honestly, but it's the same. It's multiplied by your sensitivity. So for me, I have 1600 DPI times 2 sensitivity. So it's 3200 effective DPI. You would want to approach anywhere from 4200 to, let's say, 6000 with the space that you have. So somewhere within that range that still forces you to use your arm, which is a little bit healthier, but that allows you for a little bit more mobility than what my personal sensitivity has.
So you said far left and go center, and how many 360s?
Far left to right. So go from far left on your mouse head all the way across to the right, keeping your crosshair at head height.
2, 3, and 4, and I haven't picked up yet. So 4.
So 4 full 360s from going all the way from left to right?
Full. Yeah, 4 full.
Okay, and in terms of your mouse pad space, just to make sure I'm correct, like how much space do we have here? Is it 12 inches, 18 inches? Just ballpark it from left to right.
So it's from left to right. It's like 2 feet from left to right.
Okay, so it's pretty big. Okay,
about
so
a foot and a half. Yeah. So
okay,
I have like lateral movement, not a lot of vertical.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so here's the deal. You're gonna need to cut your sensitivity in half.
Cut it in half.
Cut it in half. Because even with your mouse pad space, which is a little longer than mine, so yours is definitely, I'd say, 3 or 4 inches wider than mine. You're still doing way too many 360s, which makes sense given the fact that you're describing that you're more of a wrist aimer, right? So,
yeah.
You have more than enough sensitivity to do comfortable 360s if you get into using your arm. Now, that is also a large adjustment. We talked about your playtime, large adjustment. We're talking about your sensitivity now, large adjustment. Is it going to be worth doing for your goals? Absolutely. But again, your mileage may vary. What I would encourage you to do is you can do one of two things. You can stair step your way down. So you take your in-game sensitivity and you drop it by 10% and then 10% and then 10%, whatever you want to do. Or you go cold turkey. You cut it in half and you leave it. Good news. This is the good news. Because as somebody that's transitioned from console to PC, you know that transition can be a little awkward. Your time isn't wasted. You're not going to reset your mechanics back to 0 permanently. It's going to be very uncomfortable and awkward, but you're going to adjust very, very, very quickly. When you're aim training, you're doing just as much, if not more, training on your eye and your eye tracking as it is your arm.
Right.
And so what ends up happening, this is why pro players can change their sensitivity every so often and they're not plat, you know? It's an awkward moment and then they're like basically right back to where they were mechanically like within a week. That you're going to be the same.
Right.
It's going to be uncomfortable and then you're going to adjust and then all the work that you put in is not going to be wasted. You're going to adjust and you're going to be fine. But I do encourage you to make that pivot either cold turkey or over time for your own health, from my understanding, but also your aim consistency is going to be much, much better because the margin of error is going to be a lot bigger with these more minute adjustments. And we'll probably see the manifestation of some of that shakiness and that sensitivity in your VOD as well.
Yeah, and I was noticing that earlier. I have a tendency because I'm moving around so much. I have a tendency to miss a lot of those initial shots. And I die because of it because I missed.
There's some gradients in terms of like what's a good sensitivity, what's a bad sensitivity, but you're definitely on like you're outside the extreme. Like there's only a handful of pro players ever that have had sensitivity like yours, and I don't know of a tracer player that has ever had a sensitivity as high as yours. Like yours is easily double what any pro tracer player has. And that's not all about what pros do, but generally, if everybody agrees that something is the case, it's generally the case. And even, especially if you have objective fact of like, you're just going to have a harder time getting your crosshair on the target because there's so, like being off by a centimeter matters so much more when your crosshair or when your sensitivity is that high. So just keep that in mind. And yeah, does that make sense? Do you have any questions with that?
No. So if I'm like sitting at a 5.7 side of the game, so you should like cut it down to like a 2.5 or something like that.
Yeah, somewhere around that. I would encourage you to find your mouse DPI just so that you can be a little bit more precise with your calculations. But yeah, 2.5, 3, somewhere around that would probably be just fine. Well, it sounds like you have a sensitive. It sounds like you have a DPI that's either 1600. That's my guess, is somewhere in that vicinity. No, it might be higher than that actually. Now that I'm thinking about it in my head, but regardless, it's going to be at least 1600. So yeah, that would be a good ballpark to go with. Now, for mechanics training in general, because you obviously made that transition to PC, what did you do, if anything? Did you just play? What do you do now for warm up? Do you have anything that you warm up with? Do you just
Yeah, I do. So when I'm going into like into my main with like the intentions of playing hard,
Yep.
the warm up, I do have a warm up. So to learn the character, I just play. Like I
Yep.
just
Yep.
go
Yep.
into. I have another account that's lower. I go into the account and I learned how to play.
Mm-hmm.
Just getting my key bindings and everything like that. Just learn how to play trial and error. So
Mm-hmm.
as
Mm-hmm.
far as the warm up is, I use that lower account. I go in cold.
Yes.
Like
Okay.
we'll roll out of bed, eat my breakfast, I go in
Got
cold,
it.
and that's just
Okay.
to get me up to game speed. I don't necessarily play Tracer right off the bat. I just
Yeah.
play whatever just to
Just
get
play the
up to
game.
game speed, and
Okay.
then I'll play one match as Tracer, and then after that we're going into like maybe 5 to 10 minutes of aim trainer, just to because the muscles are loose, so we're gonna go aim trainer really fast,
Yep.
tracking and flicking.
Okay.
It's more tracking because it's Tracer, but flicking also because I do play Ash
Yep.
and Mei for my other characters.
Okay. Okay.
So, and
Sounds
then
good.
after that,
How
yeah,
long do you
after
spend in
that we
that?
go. That's about 5 minutes. Like
Okay.
I'll go through
Perfect. Oh, yep. Yep.
um because like that'll build habits in itself, but it's mostly just to get
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
the
Just get
pinpoint.
yourself alert. Yeah. I got you.
So
Okay.
then after that, we are going into my custom game mode, and I have two custom game modes. I have one that has a strafing element, where the AI is just strafing left to right, shooting at me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like chaos, but it's more just the tracking. And then I
Mm-hmm.
have a second one that I use when I'm queued up, right before I get into the game. It's just the last second ditch. It's like a pulse bomb
Yep.
tracer,
Yep.
tracer pulse bomb.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's to practice the pulse bombing, and that also has strafing and tracking in it too. So that's
Okay.
the warm up, and then we're going into our comp matches.
Okay. And how long do you do those strafing, etc. warm ups besides the aim trainer?
So
Approximately.
besides the aim trader, the strafing is about another 10 minutes or so.
Okay.
Now, if I'm training all the other characters, it'll go up to like 15 to 20 minutes if I'm
Okay.
going through my roster of players.
Okay.
But if it's just going to be Tracer or Ash, it's got
Sure.
another
Do
10
you
minutes.
enjoy those aim trainers? Do you feel like you've progressed and you get value out of using those tools?
The aim trainer is good for like driving home that accuracy a little bit more.
Yes.
And then the
Yes.
strafing, especially the pulse bomb one, if I don't do that pulse bomb one, I'm missing everything. Like
Yeah.
all of my
Fair enough.
pulses I'm
Okay.
missing.
Okay.
But if I do it, it does help. So
Okay.
it just helps to warm me up and get my eye and my hand back on the same level.
Yep, yep. Okay, okay. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, I don't have any real criticisms for that. The only other thing I'd add is if you can take breaks between games, like especially after the first couple of games, just get up and stretch your legs away from the PC. That's going to be optimal in
Yeah.
keeping your focus. But we've
So when I
thrown.
transition to each one,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So like the game's finished, like you don't need to do more deathmatch or aim trainer between you. You're fine.
yeah.
Just get up, stretch your legs, focus on your mental energy. But I mean, from what you're telling me, what you're doing seems fine. Let's focus on the quantity of hours that you're doing. Let's focus on your sense. Let's focus on, if any little detail, just getting up from your PC. Let's not try to swamp you with too much. I think that what you're doing is totally fine. Okay, I don't really have any other questions from your forum. Do you have any other questions for me?
No, I mean this is just I used to when I played a long time ago in Overwatch 1, I used to play with a team or whatever, and I used to like the whole team dynamic. I just like
Yep.
to point out that I play completely no comms.
Yep, that's fine.
Because I used to shot call and then it got toxic and people like,
Yep.
oh, shut up, and I'm like, I'm done with you
Yep.
guys. So
Yep. Yep. No,
I play
that's
with
fine.
no communication, and
Sure.
I think the clips that I have here, I was playing with music, so I might like get caught with some of that.
That's fine.
I turn the music off for sure
That's
when
fine.
like I start really getting serious, but.
Yeah, I mean that kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier, right? Like if like I want to emphasize something. If you end up playing just an hour a day of Tracer focused, that's already going to be probably a step forward from what you're doing right now. Like you don't need much to progress. It just needs to be high quality. And during those hours, I would encourage you not to have music for sure. But if you want to just chill and
Okay.
play Overwatch for fun after that, I mean, yeah, again, like I want you to kind of obey the spirit of the law here, which is that we want more focused quality hours of your Tracer. And we want you in a lower sensitivity. But how that's actually interpreted in terms of the details, I'm happy to answer those questions. But I'm not super I'm kind of indifferent. Your mileage may vary.
Yeah.
Use your judgment, experiment, and then if you have any questions on the details and specifics, like do you think is objectively the best? Okay, I'm down for that. But let's just go experiment with it first.
All right.
Okay, you want to send me whatever code or VOD you have here, and we can take a look here?
Yeah, let's see what we got here. So I definitely want to do this one on Route 66 that I just played. This was for today.
That's great. Perfect.
And it mostly because it's one of those maps where like my playstyle has to change a little bit. Because it's an escort, right? So I can't really go that hard into it. So
there's more space. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more open sight lines and verticality.
Changes. Yeah.
Okay.
And then
how does your playstyle generally change?
So like when I mentioned earlier, like when I'm playing with a poking comp, it's slower. So I end up going in too soon and trying to capitalize too soon. So what ends up happening is I end up dying because everybody's looking at me and the rest of my team wants to sit back and poke, so I'm dead.
Yeah.
Right. So now I have to when I start happening, I pull back and now I'm waiting.
Okay.
And I'm looking for something to do to do.
Let me describe this playstyle difference for you in a way that's going to be really easy to remember because I like the way you describe it there. I got one that may even be easier. When you describe a poking playstyle, generally the way that those characters maintain attention is it's a little bit more long windows of time, less threat, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Sigma stains in your face. He's not explosively distracting, but he's going to be distracting for a long period of time. So when you play with a Sigma, your window of pressure is going to be forever. He's going to be basically helping distract people for you constantly, but he's not going to be the focal point of their attention necessarily all the time.
Yeah.
Same thing goes with Ana. Same thing goes with Cassidy, a lot of these hit scan characters. So essentially, you can look at your composition and predict a little bit about like, okay, if I go in on the back line, they're probably going to be looking at me a decent amount because there's nothing really demanding their attention. No Wrecking Balls, no Genjis, no Reapers, no Pharahs flying in the sky with a Mercy Pocket. So essentially what this does is this can help give you a good idea of like anticipating how much attention that you get. The reason why I'm framing it that way is because I don't mind you kind of looking at spawn and thinking ahead of time, how much attention do you think I'm going to get, right? But I also don't want you to just go and expect, just because you're playing a dive comp, that you're going to get like no attention because you're going to have a lot of help. You might not. Right. The thing that you have to do with Tracer, in the simplest way I describe taking Tracer, is to take an angle, shoot people from that angle, and if a lot of people look at you play your life and nobody looks at you play for the kill, basically it, right? So if you take this angle here and nobody's looking at you because they're looking at your ball, you can do things because you're free. But if you look at this here, and this Sigma, Cassidy, Mercy, Hanzo, everyone's chasing you down, you need to play your life, even if you describe yourself as as an aggressive player, as a high risk, high reward player. Because it's not about your playstyle preferences here, because there is no high risk, high reward. There's only risk and very little reward. The reward is the distraction and you setting up your teammates. That's something that really all DPSs do, but especially characters with mobility, like Tracer.
Yeah, and I would like to say, like, even on my bad games, I do have because I influence so much, especially early on, I draw a lot of attention towards me.
Right. So how do you manage that attention? You kind of get what I'm saying? How good are you at reading the room in terms of how much attention that you're getting? I even have a whole principle that I named just after a pro player, Kevster principle, which is about recognizing 2v1s, 3v1s, 1v1s, and behaving differently accordingly, right? Now, for you may look at a 1v1 and go, I don't need to just keep his attention. I need to kill him. That's the bloodlust. That's the kind of player that I am, right? It's a 2v1, but I've got recall and pulse. I think I can win this, right? I can respect that. We can lean into that. But you're going to have to educate, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bloodlust used to be my screen name.
Yeah. There you go. That's great. Okay, so first things first, can we get you on a short range off angle, especially with the spread change recently? Definitely more in the short range. And then pressure, essentially.
This is the years of just doing this. I always push the card a little bit because
that's fine.
Sometimes they don't start, and then I just
that's fine.
I have the mega here and stuff like that. So
yeah, so this is kind of what we're looking at, right? So if you want to go down the rabbit hole here, Wrecking Ball is really good at pulling attention, but he can be a little bit challenging to play with because he has a lot of ins and outs, right? So he's not in for very long, almost ever. Winston is in. very dangerous, like a Wrecking Ball, but he's generally in for a good 2 or 3 seconds. Wrecking Ball is usually shorter. The good news about Wrecking Ball, though, is that he comes in much faster than a Winston, right? Because he doesn't need his bubble. So like right now, Wrecking Ball's primary focus. But now you are going to be primary focus. And because it's 2, you have to blink accordingly. You kind of see what I'm saying? So this is really important. Yeah, so this is fine. Okay. Rotating around. This is all fine. Sure. Yeah. Good recall. Just play your life and we're good. Good start to the fight. I like the off angle. Your movement with blinks and your aim is definitely a little shaky. And not like literally and not literally, right? But you did okay managing attention. Yeah, it's all right. You did a good job managing attention. You blinked away around targets when they looked at you, and your angles were relatively good as well. Now, this is where I would definitely prioritize angle over cart. Yep, I was going to say, get here as quickly as you can. It's really important you get the angles quickly with Tracer. There's a misconception that Tracer is really easy to rotate with. It's actually could not be possibly further from the truth, because you don't want to use blinks late in rotations. You kind of get what I'm saying?
Right.
This is a perfect example. You had to use, and it's fine to use blinks to get to a position, but only if you end up with 2, preferably 3 blinks once you're there. You're still not here. You want to be here, right? And you're still not there, and you're still missing half a blink. So this comp, you're going to have to use a blink to rotate, but you're not really in a position to duel effectively. And in addition to that, because you got there late, your brain's going, I gotta go, I gotta go, I gotta go, I gotta go. And because you're thinking about getting there, you're not actually listening. You didn't even hear the Hanzo that was right next to you because your attention was elsewhere, right? So I'm not like going crazy, this is the end of the world, you know, you deserve to be bronze because this is, it's fine. You probably lose this fight anyway. But I want to point out that there was not enough urgency from you to get to the angle. And part of that was because you were prioritizing cart with 3 other people on it.
Right.
Cart's fine with Tracer, but Cart's fine with Tracer if nobody else is pushing it, right? If you've seen high-level Tracer players, they push Cart. Why? Because backline's on high ground. If you're playing in gold, plat, and you got 2 or 3 people on Cart, you shouldn't be on Cart. You need to set up on your angle instead. Does that make sense?
Right.
Because Cart can be an angle if your team's on high, because it's separated from your team. But if it's not, then what's the point? So, okay, let's keep looking here. This rotation's fine. I want to see you a little bit closer.
Yeah, I didn't want to peek the cast.
Yeah, you're waiting for your tank. Yeah, it's fine, it's fine. Yep, this is fine. Okay, rotation, rotation, rotation. All right, start the pressure, let's go. So actually this is just a little slow, but I mean, it's a good try. That's fine. Took you way too long to set up the pulse bomb. Not in terms of the blinks. The blinks actually are kind of fun. Like that's fine. That's not. I don't hate that at all. It just your Rissa was already getting her face melted by the time you went for the pulse bomb. So just a little bit more urgency there. But beyond that, this is fine. This is exactly what I talked about, right? You're on a good angle. You don't have recall, so you can't really go for the higher risk pressures. Nothing's low here, right? But now Cart is a significant angle here, and this is going to be a huge problem for the enemy team. So nice job.
Yeah. I want to draw attention towards.
Yeah. I mean, it's not just drawing attention too. It's also like this. There's legitimate value to pushing Cart there, right? So it's good. That's good. Yeah, that's just fine. And then I think you can live in backline here if you want. Your wrist is dead, but that's not your problem. Yeah, good job. That was fine. Let's get forward a little bit. Good. Be patient.
Look at me. Look at me.
Yeah. I wouldn't worry as much about that right now, just because if you can see through walls, you can see that your team isn't really initiating just yet. So I would wait until. Go ahead.
I didn't want them to, because a lot of times I have like this bad history of like the team's not pushing, so I wanted to give them as much space as possible. So now the
so you tell me the most passive team that you've ever played with, when would be a good time to distract? You tell me when. Because this is what you can.
Well, later at this point.
Right. So when? Tell me. Pause.
About right now.
Yeah, sure. I agree. Yeah, this is fine. But you've already done. You see the difference here? You're now out, so your distraction value is gone, right? Yeah. It's not that what you did was useless. It's that I think that it would have been more useful timed, 7 seconds later? Yeah, 7 seconds later, right? 7 seconds later. Just keep that in mind. And this is, again, information that is public to you because you can see through walls. So you can go here and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Team is too passive. Now distraction value actually holds meaning. And honestly, like you could even go touch cart, right? Or pressure this Juno. But yeah, that's fine. The problem now is this. This is the problem. So that extremely passive team that we just talked about, right? That extremely passive team is now stuck at a choke 4v5, right? So it's always, when do you choose to invest your resources, right? Okay. I would go cart here. Mm-hmm. 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 Good clip. Kind of turn to avoid that hinder as he looks at you. Yeah, that's just good. Yeah, my only complaint is how that fight started from you. Nice job. Any questions so far?
No, not right now.
All right, let's keep rolling here. Yeah, this angle's fine. Uh-huh. This is more of an awareness thing. Maybe not an awareness thing, but in terms of like, what can I actually do for my off angle? So with the power of hindsight here, now that we're kind of like chilling, what do you see here? Like, what can you do from this position, which I like, right? You got some cover here.
I have a short angle for the Sigma, and you say this all the time to shoot the tankers there, but I think in the back of my head, there's a lot of poke like right there in that LOS, and I want to break LOS, and I also hear the Juno above. I don't realize that she's all the way up there, but I do hear her up there.
And I think that's kind of my point there, right? It's like you knew that she was up there, and yet you don't even make any attempt to go for her. You don't even look for her, right? So you could shoot tank, right? Absolutely. But then you're right. You're like, I'm getting poked. There's a Juno right here. Yeah. Sick him. You get what I'm saying? Go get him, right? And so I think there's like this weird hesitation here where there's somebody on your angle, Juno, right? Like, I don't know if you could have killed her, but maybe we could have forced Mercy Pocket. Maybe we could have forced her support ult. It was just an odd sort of inaction. I don't remember if you remember your decision, or I don't know, sorry, if you remember your decision making there. That would be something to elaborate on if you can. If not, it's fine.
I think what happened was, did we get a pick? Did they get a pick early?
They killed your Orisa, but you did kill their Hanzo.
I didn't want to, I didn't want to commit to that because it wasn't really going to be a fight that I think I was going to win.
Right, so but I'm not. The fight is ongoing. Look at the kill feed, right?
Yeah.
This is a 4v4. We don't have to sit here and do the mathematics of what's more valuable, a tank or a DPS. It doesn't matter. If this fight is even remotely winnable, you're not down 3, then you need to be doing something.
Okay.
You need to be doing something. You know, whatever's convenient on your angle here. You're not forcing errors here. It felt like you bailed in this fight a little bit too soon. But I appreciate that, because that's kind of what it felt like. It felt like you thought that the fight was lost. Yeah. And I'm glad to hear that was...
And I think in context too, this match, I just played this match. This match was after like 5 straight losses.
Right.
So
right.
I'm playing a little bit more conservative.
Yeah.
Losing, so.
Yeah, it's worth highlighting that conservative is not better. There's no such thing as a good conservative playstyle or a good aggressive playstyle. There's good, and then there's bad. We talked about making high risk choices for high rewards, low risk choices for low rewards. Then there's just complete inactivity. That's always bad, right? So like even right now, right? Like,
I could have did something.
Like right now, I hear combat of sorts, right? So you don't have to go all the way in, but fighting is happening here, right? And this is too far for you. So you need to either reevaluate your angle or you need to reevaluate your target. This is better. Yeah, see, you actually have meaningful distraction now because you're actually doing meaningful damage from a meaningful angle at a meaningful time. My problem here is that, you know, when Hanzo looks your way here, you can't be AFK. You do need to respect him, but you need to do something. You kind of see what I'm saying here right now?
I could have shot from that angle.
You could have shot from this angle.
LOS from Hanzo,
you sure could have. You know, or take the duel with Hanzo, you know, approach it from here, bling through, use the cover here. It's riskier, of course, but there's too much inactivity essentially here. You have the angle here, but you're not doing anything from that angle when you get contested. Good pulse spawn. So my feedback here, obviously that's a little bit goofy there with the, probably should have recalled there sooner. Let me check to see. Yeah, you're just too slow with the recall. But,
yeah.
I like what you're doing, or in terms of the position that you took there. I don't like what you did on that angle. Too much inactivity, waiting for something to happen. When you get contested, you get a little gun shy. Yeah, it's like, it's something that we want to look for. Like, I don't like always saying prioritize your uptime, but when you have an angle and you have resources, you need to be doing damage. This is good. Like right now, don't give up, right? Like you've been contested. Yes. There are a couple people looking at you. Yes, so you need to be careful, but that doesn't mean you do nothing, right? So this might be, okay, where's my next rotation? Because this is awkward, right? So where is your next rotation? This is a classic escort. Where on earth do I go do damage here?
Yeah. So I remember here, like, I knew the Juno was shooting at me, so I was playing a little bit, and then I saw the cast coming up too. So right here, I'm determining whether I want to do a new angle or if I want to put some damage onto the cast.
Sure. Everything's very far, though, so nothing feels great here, right? So then you kind of need to think, right, like, this is dangerous, but I'm happy to see you actually doing things, because you're only a distraction for as much that you're actually... They know that you're there, right? And you're doing something about that, right? So this is okay. I don't mind this rotation because you found a new angle where you could do something. I've seen moments of trigger discipline as well. It definitely seems like something you're aware of, which I respect. One little detail, which we won't delve into too much, but it's worth highlighting here. Recall... a good way of thinking about recall is it's a sustained cooldown. It's not a strictly defensive cooldown. So what I mean by that is you need to recall here because you lost a significant amount of HP. And if you don't recall here, you're going to need to play remarkably passive. Do you see what I'm saying? So
right.
I would rather have you down your resource in doing things than... not doing things while you hold on to recall for that one scenario that's not likely to happen anymore.
And I think I do have that habit of, like, I'm so used to playing on, like, lower HP that I hold that recall way too long.
Yep.
There's a lot of deaths I could have prevented if I had used it earlier.
Well, it's not just about the death. It's also about this is as bad as death right now because you're not doing very much, right? So what's the point of recall? It's to keep yourself alive. What's the point of being alive? Doing damage or distracting or forcing resources. Are you forcing resources right now? Not really. No, not really. And you could have died there anyway. That's the irony, right? So I'm only bringing that up because I have seen it a couple of times so far and haven't really brought it up, but I think at this point in time, it's probably worth bringing up. So recall is all about sustaining yourself on an angle for longer. It's not necessarily about, oh, I don't want to use it unless I absolutely have to. If you got it, use it. You are going through the motions, which is not an insult. I appreciate you trying. A little bit of trigger discipline there. You try to blink through them. Unfortunately, your clip management is bad, so you're caught reloading at a moment when you should be shooting. And so then you panic and then blink to avoid his 180, which I think you probably needed to because he would have smoked you there. You start to shoot and you go, oh, I shouldn't be shooting this. I need to be moving away. You didn't realize that you had one blink left. You recall, but at least you have 3 blinks. And then you realize that he's used his helix, I hope. Okay, yeah, you did. And then you're like, oh, I can be a little bit... Yeah, I can be a bit greedier with my clip here, which I think is correct. So what I'm saying here is that your execution is pretty abysmal, but you're trying to do the right things. This is good. Keep up the good work. In terms of what you're doing is good, is you're trying to be thoughtful about your blinks in a duel, in your clip. You get what I'm saying? You're doing both of those things. That's good. This is why we need more deliberate practice from you, though, because I would want you to go into a game and only focus on your clip management for 2-3 games every day and then just do something else, because it's going to take, it's hard. It's really hard. It's Tracer's most difficult skill, even more so than positioning. But honestly, good stuff. Good. It's a little awkward of an approach. So this is the high risk, high reward kind of playstyle, because why is this high risk, high reward?
Because if I hit the pulse, best case scenario, I get 2.
Mm-hmm. Why is it high risk?
I don't have recall.
You don't have recall, right? And also you're approaching a Cassidy directly at his face. Now you're not walking to him, you're blinking to him, and you're doing so with pulse bomb. So I can't say that this is always a bad play. Sure, it's close. I can see it. If I could talk about execution here, it would be more about blinking to cover now as quickly as you possibly can. But obviously there's a lot going on in your brain right now, right? So I would not say this is an earned death. This was foolish. However, I don't think it was stupid. You get what I'm saying? I get it. Yeah. That's fine. So here's what I'm going to say. If you're going to go for this without recall, make sure you hit the pulse bomb. But more importantly, blink to cover if you can. If you don't have recall. Just play your life here. But I can't say this was a bad play. It's okay. It was just high risk, high reward. This is your play style, right? I get it. This wasn't stupid. Good try. Better luck next time, you know?
Yep.
A lot of things could have changed there, right? Hitting the pulse bomb, you know? blinking to cover. Yeah.
And I think if I would have recognized that the Sega already got 2 people, I wouldn't have gone for that post bomb.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. But I still think that that was a very losable fight, too. So I don't think it was necessarily a bad read. But I get exactly what you're saying. Okay. You definitely can see the shakiness of the aim at moments like that, right? Very jittery. Okay. Okay. Taking the left here. I like this. Good. That's one of those moments where I think reading your recall was okay because it was just Juno torpedoes, which you were relatively high enough HP to not need it. This is okay. I don't think this is bad. You're gatekeeping this backline. You're shooting tank. I think this is fine. The only nitpick I'd have here is this is where like you can definitely feel the recent nerf with the spread, right? Because you're right at that range where you could be doing a little bit more damage, but I don't think there's necessarily anything you can be doing differently because with Valking Mercy, you're not really going to do any reasonable pressure to these guys, especially when she's floating in the air. So just keep doing what you're doing and be patient. And if you see an opportunity to go for it.
At this point, it's more of me just abusing the high ground and like,
yeah.
Since nobody's going to contest me, I'm just going to stay here.
You're stretching the range of Tracer, but I don't think you've broken it. You're still doing reasonable damage here, so. Now, I wouldn't hesitate to drop and go for a clip on this Mercy if I were you, if you could use your blinks, just because you have blinks. So if you see an opportunity here, for example, to go for Juno or Soldier or Mercy and blink and dodge and try to get the kill and then recall back to top, I wouldn't be mad. Just keep that in mind. So, you know, you're on the right angle, but feel free to use your blinks for more aggression from that angle, but I don't think this is bad. Okay, let's take a look. I mean, I'm being really nitpicky here, but I think the urgency here is a little much. And obviously going for the Mei is a choice, right? I think you got a few seconds here, but it's not the end of the world. You're forcing some resources. You can leave now. Good job.
Yeah, now we're OT, so.
Yes, good job. Good job. Finish off. Finish off. That's where you absolutely need to finish that kill, right? You need a little bit more propensity to finish and a little bit less to be like, oh, I need to play it safe. No, 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 no. Even here, right? Get the freaking Mei. Get the freaking Mercy, right? Generally some feedback for there. Like even now, we need more damage from you. So there's some hesitation. It's funny, it's because this particular game, I see a little bit more hesitation than I see aggression. I don't mind the angles that you're playing, but I would like to see opportunity when you have recall. You're more than welcome to go for that pressure. Do you have any questions so far?
I think it's definitely the losing streak that got me playing a little bit more conservative. Like I'm trying to be a little bit more deliberate with what I'm doing rather than just playing like I normally do.
But do that not because you're losing, but do that because it's something that you feel like you need to improve on.
Right.
You know, you have to. I'm not saying that it is reasonable for you to be strictly objective about every decision that you make. We're not robots. Our feelings get hurt. My feelings get hurt. I play differently when I lose. And I play differently when I win. But it is your duty to try to minimize that, right? As much as you possibly can to make decisions that even if I don't feel hot mechanically, this is something that I need to be doing. You know, that Mercy's 1 HP. Do you think the best Tracer player in the world would not have finished the kill? Of course they would have, right? They have recall. They have triple blinks. Go get the kill. Can your verticality get up that? I don't know. Try it, you know? So don't train something because you think it's the way that Tracer ought to be played, not because you think that you're not capable or are not able of doing it, right? Because that's how you're going to get there, right? Do something because it makes sense objectively, not because it makes sense because I'm capable of it. It's definitely an awkward spot to play Tracer. I think that this decision here is like, I generally, you're probably gonna have a better time holding this angle to start anyway, so I like this adjustment. And you can always deepen here, don't forget as well. It's probably not something you do too often, but it is probably your best option for where your team is fighting.
I don't know why I took that angle, because normally I go underneath by the Mega. But...
I like this better than the Mega, to be honest with you. I like this rotation that wraps around, and Mega just feels like I don't have any space to move. You get what I'm saying? Like basically you're praying that your team just lets them through the choke and then you can go. Whereas if this fight happens here, like what are you supposed to do from here? You know, you have to kind of go out this way. It feels really awkward. So I actually like this adjustment from you. Play your life. Okay, so this is where I don't love this, to be honest with you.
The high risk.
Yeah, that's the really, really high risk. Now,
Yeah,
the
I
reason,
saw her, like,
you know what,
super low.
honestly, no, I take it back. You saw that she was low before,
Yeah,
so
I
you
saw
went
she
for
was
it.
really low.
Okay, so I disregard. This is fine.
And I know I didn't have recall, so the chances of me getting out like were really low. So
I get it. I get it. Okay, I'm gonna give this one the stamp of approval because you did see that she was low. Yeah, it's fine. Where's your angle? Where's your angle? Where's your angle? Where's your angle? Yes. This is fine. Good job. It's too slow, right? We talked about that urgency, right? You know, you didn't have a lot of time here, but that means also that smelling the roses like this just isn't worth it, right? Would you being here now change anything? Actually, yes. Actually, now that I look at it, yes, it would have. Actually, it really would have. Actually, no. I was gonna say no, but it's the principle. But actually, no. Actually, it's the principle. But also, yes, it would have mattered.
That's like 5 seconds of me recognizing what's happening.
Yeah. And it's not always gonna be in the moment. Like, it's not always gonna win you fights. But it is something that we saw earlier. Like whether it was you pushing card or whatever. It's just like urgency with your angles. You know. Let's go. By the way, this is a recall moment.
Yeah. And I think the reason why I didn't use recall is because I have cover. They're not going to be able to contest me up there right now. So
yeah, but you need to do damage right now, right? Like this fight is happening, right? Or it's about to happen. Like look at your Bastion and Moira. Like this is a 3v4. This is not a done deal here, right? And you look at the health pools, like which you didn't know, but it doesn't matter. Like this fight is ongoing. You have blinks here. Can you take a 1v1 with a soldier without recall? Yeah, you can. You know, you don't really have much to lose here, right? We have a health pack. You have triple blinks. Let's go, right? Like, let's go. You know? So it's kind of like you're running away from pressure here, and then now what this means is that you really can't do anything now, because there's no point. Like, maybe I would rotate for the mini here, maybe Gramble it, but you're essentially, like, basically what you're doing is you're distracting without a threat.
Right.
Which means that your distraction value is infinitely lower, because it's a 1-for-1. No, it's not, because Soldier tickles you for half a second and then turns his attention to your tank. So he's getting you out of the fight and getting a little bit bonus value too, right? So I'm seeing a little bit too much hesitation, which part of that we can definitely blame on you should have recalled there. But also, this fight's not lost. We need you pressuring. If you have enough resources to pressure, you need to pressure. So there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve for you. It's like when can I safely hold attention versus when do I need to be doing a little bit more? Because I don't actually hate, good pulse bomb. I actually don't hate your starting angles all that much. I just don't love what you do from those angles. Sometimes you greed your recall, sometimes you disrespect enemy attention, but more often than not, at least this particular game, because you're feeling frustrated about that loss streak, you're not doing enough from the angle. Like even here, right? So get a heal, go back and start shooting. You need to go back and start shooting. Oh, I don't have my recall. You don't need your recall. You have 2 blinks, you have full HP, start shooting.
Right.
I mean, I don't think I'd drop, right? Because I don't have my recall. But you see, this is criminal. You just killed your Bastion, right? You had the angle. I don't even know that I would have needed healing from my Ana here. Like maybe one shot, like maybe I just peek here and then go right back. But my goodness gracious, we need you in. We need you now.
Yeah.
And see, now you're hesitating to rotate because it's like we're down 1. No. Like if you're gonna clutch, it's gonna be doing crap back here, right? Like trust your resources, trust your instincts here. You know, and now like I don't think you would ever say that you'd want to hold an angle like this. Why are you here? Because I think you're backing off, right? You're backing off. You're not controlling space, and so ironically, that's gonna guarantee that you die. At least it should. Or the result's the same, right? Okay, let's see. It's kind of like you want somebody else to set up your success for you, you know? Like kind of create the attention and the distraction, and then you're very quick to give up on fights.
I used to be the one, and I think I still am, like in my base form. I'm the one that forces it and pushes though all the time. But I think recently, like especially these games, I slowed down a little bit.
And it's a cycle too, right? Like even if this isn't representative of you in most games, if this is the chunk of games of how you respond to a loss streak, which by the way affects everybody, right? This is a huge concern, right? This is a big speed bump, right? Focus on doing your thing, you know? I'm not saying play more aggressive. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying when you have resources, you have the angle, you need to be doing things. As long as a fight is winnable, you need to be doing things. If you die, okay, reset and go again, right? Like right now. Okay, Blink, recall, get your HP back. You're too slow in the recall, so you don't get any HP back, right? But if you're faster here, oh no, you made a mistake, you got Helix. That's okay, just blink. Shoot, blink, shoot, recall, go, do it again. Take the duel. So it's just, you're a little slow with the recall, so you don't get the HP back. And so now you have to run or die, right? And so you're like, right? But what you did there or tried to do was correct. Your execution was terrible, but yeah, you need fight the soldier. Yeah, it's good. Even the angle that you approached it from was okay. It's all right. We look at that. I look at that as mechanical, right? That's just a mechanical thing of knowing when to use your recall in that 1v1. It was not a bad decision to take that duel. You get what I'm saying? And so that's kind of what I want you to look at it is, you know, what are mechanical mistakes, things I shouldn't have taken that duel, or, you know, how I took the duel is wrong versus, oh, I shouldn't have been doing anything right now. Like right now, this is not a mechanical mistake. This is a strategy mistake. Can you tell me why? I'm not giving you a lot of information, but so this is going to be a challenge.
Right now, the first thing I think is the soldier's looking at me, and he's boosted by the Mercy.
That's partly true, right? But you also are built to take 2v1s, at least to hold their attention, right?
Yeah.
It's okay. I'm not saying that you need to force the kill, but it's okay. If it's more aggressive, okay, it's fine, sure. Just move and blink, right? There's a problem, though, with taking this duel right now, though. What's the problem?
My main distraction is dead.
That's old you talking. I don't mind if your main distraction is dead. This fight's still winnable, right? You need to play like it's winnable. Yeah. It is winnable. That's not the problem. Your main distraction's dead. Who's your secondary distraction? Who's your tertiary distraction? Who's your quadriary distraction?
I mean, it's me, but...
Everybody else. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where is everybody else right now?
I actually don't know where everybody else is right now.
That's the key thing. I do, but you don't. Okay, you ready? This is where everybody else is. Do you see the problem here? Where's your distraction?
Nobody's holding attention.
Nobody's holding attention. So you're 1v4ing or 1v3ing, right? So this is the whole I'm distracting, but there is actually nobody to capitalize off of that distraction. They're not even shooting the tracer right now. Like if this tracer's out here, I mean, it would be something of value, like where like maybe they could force a recall on her or whatever, but there's actually nothing to look at right now. So it's not just that your ball is dead, it's the fact that your team might as well be dead with what you're doing right now. If this was a 4v5, you should still be fighting and trying. We've seen you give up too quickly in those situations. Right now, though, there's no point doing this because it doesn't matter how well good you play it. Now you're out, and can you guess, is the team fight happening? Yes, it is. And where are you?
Right now.
And now you're out, right? You had to take a defensive nade. You've lost your angle. You've gotten bullied out. Your Bastion's getting run over. This is your fault. So what should have been done differently here? Be as simple as you possibly can. I like the angle, right? So what should you do now?
Probably wait a second.
Wait. Nothing. Tell me when would you do something. Let's pretend the diva doesn't push through here with her barrel snout, you know? Look at the soldier, you know? Kind of feel it like right now, right? Like look at these guys, right? Yeah, this seems about right, you know? This seems about right. I guarantee you this diva's not going to clear high ground, right? So here we go. Diva goes in. Diva walks to cart. Now we're on backline. Yeah, this is good. And then take the duel with confidence. You know, be respectful of the Moira Mercy Soldier trio, right? You're probably going to need to blink a lot and use a recall, and you're almost certainly not going to get a kill. But it would be worth your time. Go for it. You get what I'm saying? So the problem keeps happening is that your timing is a little off with these pressures. So it basically is putting you in situations when you can't do anything. And I think the real danger of this is this probably gives you a little bit of negative feedback. Stop doing things. You know, you need to not be the distraction. You need to let your tank be the distraction, right? When that was not the problem. The problem is when you did those things. That's why it went so poorly. You should. I like that proactivity from you. It was good. I like this. This is good. You've got blinks. Go for it. You could go here. I don't mind you starting and shooting what's convenient on the angle and then going more aggressively when you see opportunities, right? So here, you got a pulse on. Yeah. Big pulse. Good stuff. You didn't have your recall, but you're like, I've got enough HP, I've got enough blinks, and I think I've got the reward if I get the pulse on to make it matter. Yeah, sure. So I look at this here and I'm like, I wish you wouldn't have died after pulse bomb, because what should you have done after pulse bomb?
Should have blinked to cover.
Blink to cover, right? You're kind of there, but not quite. And you're also thinking, oh, I'm going to keep... No. No.
I didn't want to fight the diva, but I'm like...
I'm going to die anyway. Yeah. I get what you're saying, right? But obviously, in hindsight, not really the case.
I would have linked to the mega, but there's no mega up right now.
Correct.
So either way, I'm like...
So this is one of those moments again where the execution, but the strategy is fine. So how would you frame your feedback for yourself? What needs to be done differently here? What needs to be done better? Simplify it. What things can you practice when you're on your deliberate training arc?
I could practice uptime and my timing of engagements.
Okay, so let's focus on the uptime. Improve the description of uptime. What do you mean uptime?
In this specific example, I spent a lot of time not really doing anything. I felt like I spent a lot of time not.
And why was that the case?
I was playing hesitant.
Why? You get what I'm saying? Root cause here.
Yeah.
You described it as the loss streak, right? Kind of discouraging you from taking initiative. It's fine to take initiative. What do you need to factor in when you take initiative? Give me one thing. What was the final mistake? You remember your wrecking ball dies? What was the mistake with that engage that we can kind of fixate on?
I went too early.
Sure. So
and then I pulled resources and I'm out of position.
Right. But that was the consequence of the bad decision, right? So for you is I would let's just start with this one, right? So when we talk about your uptime, right? Let's make sure that you're tracking the timing of your engage so that whatever aggressive things, high risk thing that you do, your team is in a position to capitalize off of it. Not on the target that you're going on, but on anything else, right? Maybe they can shoot a diva, maybe they can shoot a tracer, maybe they can shoot backline. I don't know. Check your timing. And don't let yourself get discouraged by loss streaks. Focus on what is objectively the best decision and focus on your execution. Does that make sense? That's number one.
That makes sense.
Number two is if we were to look at your mechanical performance, is there anything that you can work on mechanically? Not, just do better, but aim better, but like what would you train if you were to fix anything mechanically?
My recall greed and now this one I was consciously playing it in this line. My blink, I don't blink away from cover or not. I tend to walk out covers and then get shot in the head. So
that's fine. Yeah, agreed. But I really like your recall thing. Just use the recall. That's fine. Just use it. It's a sustained cooldown. It's definitely a tendency for you to try to greed it almost, it feels like. But yeah, absolutely. Anything else that you would say? I think your starting angles were okay. Anything else would you work on?
I guess also not changing my playstyle with the loose streaks.
Yeah.
Because I definitely did not feel as aggressive as I normally was in that match.
Yep. And when we talk about aggression, it's more about like you have the resources and the distraction, so let's do some things, right? So when we talk about it uptime, or I don't care what's causing, or I don't know, I want you to consider it, but you do things, be confident, right? Okay. Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay. Obviously, all this is going to take some focused energy to work on.